Okay, so get this, right? Staying hydrated could be like the secret sauce to aging well. We're going to like deep dive into these really cool findings from the National Institutes of Health, the NIH.
Oh, wow.
They just dropped this study, right? They followed people for 30 years.
Wow.
It's wild. 30 years. Imagine the data.
That's a serious commitment to research, for sure.
Right. Amazing.
Yeah, it really makes their findings powerful, you know? And what they found, this connection between hydration and healthier aging, it's not what you'd think.
Yeah, it wasn't like asking people, hey, how much water do you drink every day? This was way more in depth.
Much more precise, yeah.
Yeah. It was all about serum sodium levels in the blood.
That's what's so cool here. Serum sodium, it's a way more objective measure than just relying on what people remember, you know? Basically, when you don't drink enough fluids, that serum sodium level, it goes up.
Ah.
And so the researchers, by tracking that, they got a really clear picture of people's hydration habits over, a long period of time.
So what'd they find? What's the scoop?
They found that adults who had serum sodium levels kind of on the high end of normal, they were more likely to develop chronic conditions, show signs of aging faster, things like heart disease, lung disease, even dementia, and a higher risk of, dying younger, sadly.
Wow.
And the key takeaway here is these people, their serum sodium levels were still technically normal, just on the higher side.
Oh, so it's not just like avoiding extreme dehydration, but making sure you're consistently well hydrated throughout like your whole life.
Mm.
Man, I'm rethinking all those times I reached for coffee instead of a glass of water, I always just thought mild dehydration is just, oh, I'm a little thirsty, no big deal.
It's easy to downplay it,
Yeah.
But our bodies, they're complex machines.
Yeah.
Every cell needs water to function, right? So when we're chronically dehydrated, even just a little bit, it's like running your car low on oil.
Oh,
Things wear out faster.
yikes. And didn't the study say something about our bodies holding less water as we get older and like even our thirst signals get weaker?
Exactly. We might not even realize we're dehydrated until it's like too late and those more serious effects start showing up. Plus, I gotta think about medications too. A lot of common prescriptions, especially for older folks, things like diuretics for blood pressure, they can mess with that fluid balance even more.
I've heard of diuretics, but I don't really know how they work. Can you break that down?
Sure. Diuretics basically help your body get rid of excess fluid
Okay.
by making you pee more, essentially.
Bull-
They're super effective for things like high blood pressure, but they can lead to dehydration if you're not, replenishing those fluids.
Gotcha. So the big question, how much fluid do we actually need each day? Like, is there a simple way to figure that out?
There's a good rule of thumb, kind of easy to remember. Aim to drink about 1/3 of your body weight in ounces of fluid.
Okay.
So let's say you weigh 150 pounds, you'd aim for around 50 ounces per day.
Got it. Okay. But hold on, what counts as fluid here? Is it just water or is there more to it than that?
Good news is you don't have to just chug plain water all day. All fluids count. Juice, milk, even the fluids you get from fruits and veggies.
Wait, fruits and veggies? Seriously?
Oh yeah, big time. Think about a watermelon. It's like over 90% water.
Huh.
Spinach, cucumbers, even strawberries all contribute to your overall hydration.
Phew. That makes me feel a little better about my choices.
Hmm.
But what happens if we don't drink enough? Like, I know we talked about the long-term stuff, but day to day, is it just like a little thirsty or is there more?
It can actually show up in a lot of surprising ways. That afternoon brain fog or those like random headaches could be dehydration.
Really? I always thought that was just like getting older,
Yeah.
and working too hard.
Well, aging and stress definitely don't help, but even mild dehydration can cause those things. You might also have like dry mouth, muscle cramps, even darker urine. Those are all signs your body's like, hey, drink something.
Okay, noted. And if it gets really bad,
Then you might get dizziness, rapid heartbeat, even confusion.
wow, this is eye-opening. But let's shift gears for a second. I want to talk about the good stuff, the benefits of staying hydrated. Is it just about avoiding the bad, or are there, like, actual positive things that happen?
Oh, there are tons of positive impacts.
Yeah.
Because water, it's essential for everything to work right in your body.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So first of all, good hydration, it boosts your circulation.
Oh.
Think of it like keeping the rivers in your body flowing smoothly so they can deliver oxygen and nutrients to every cell.
Gotcha. What else? What else does it help with?
Well, water also helps with digestion, breaks down food, keeps things moving along.
If you know what I mean.
Exactly right. If you've ever been constipated, dehydration might be playing a role.
Okay, noted. What else can we expect?
Water is crucial for healthy joints. It's like oil for a machine, keeps everything moving smoothly, reduces stiffness and pain.
Okay, okay. Starting to see the big picture here.
And let's not forget the kidneys. Hydration helps flush out toxins and reduces your risk of kidney stones. Plus, your skin.
What about it?
More hydrated skin, it's plumper, more youthful looking,
Yeah.
like a natural beauty treatment, right?
Sold. All right, so practical tips.
Yeah.
How do we stay hydrated, especially as we get older and those natural like thirst signals maybe aren't as strong?
For seniors, it's key to keep water easily accessible, maybe a pitcher by your favorite chair or bedside table.
I like that. I also try to keep a water bottle with me all the time just so I can sip throughout the day.
That's a great strategy.
Uh-huh.
Setting reminders on your phone can also be really helpful.
Oh yeah, good idea.
And if plain water is a little boring, throw in some lemon slices, cucumbers, berries, make it fun.
Love that. Sometimes I add a splash of juice to my water just to, give it a little flavor.
Exactly. It's all about finding what works for you and making hydration part of your routine.
This has been super insightful.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick before we move on to part 2, let's recap what we've learned. Hydration is super important for healthy aging. It affects everything from like chronic diseases to how well our bodies work every day. And it's not just about avoiding, being severely dehydrated.
Right.
It's about staying well hydrated, like consistently throughout our lives.
Absolutely. And we learned about that connection between serum sodium levels and, how even mild dehydration can mess with you in ways you might not realize.
Exactly. But the good news is there's some easy to remember tips for staying hydrated, like drinking 1/3 of your body weight in fluids and remembering that all fluids count towards that goal.
Right.
We've only just scratched the surface, though. Stick with us for part 2 of our deep dive into hydration and healthy aging, where we'll explore even more tips and tackle some of the common challenges people face.
It's going to be good.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive.
So before the break, we covered some of the basics, right?
Hmm.
Like how much fluid do we need and what actually counts as fluid.
Yeah, the fundamentals.
But I'm thinking about, our listeners and how as we get older, there are all these unique challenges that come up. Are there like specific hurdles for seniors when it comes to staying hydrated, things that maybe we don't think about when we're younger?
Oh, absolutely. One of the biggest ones is that as we age, our thirst mechanism, it just doesn't work as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we might not even feel thirsty when our bodies are actually starting to get dehydrated.
So we can't just rely on thirst anymore?
Especially as we get older, no. Older adults might not realize they're dehydrated until they start experiencing those, more serious symptoms we talked about before, like dizziness or confusion.
That makes sense. So what can we do about that? If we can't trust our thirst, how do we make sure we're staying on top of our hydration?
It's all about building new habits.
Okay.
Even if you don't feel thirsty, make it a routine, Sip water regularly throughout the day. Keep a water bottle handy. Set reminders on your phone.
So it's like we have to be proactive about it.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of waiting for our bodies to, scream at us.
Right.
And another thing that can be tough for some older adults is, the worry about incontinence.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people might cut back on fluids because they're worried about those, frequent bathroom trips.
I get that. I can see how that would be a concern. But I've also heard that restricting fluids can actually make incontinence worse.
That's absolutely true.
Is that real?
Yeah, when you're dehydrated, your urine gets more concentrated.
Okay.
And that can irritate the bladder and actually make those urges even harder to control. It's like a vicious cycle.
So what's the solution? Seems like a bit of a catch-22.
Honestly, the most important thing is to talk to your doctor.
Okay.
There are really effective treatments for incontinence, and they can help you find that balance between staying hydrated and not making those symptoms worse.
It sounds like open communication with your doctor is key in these situations.
It really is. And there are other things you can do to help manage incontinence while still staying hydrated, like timing your fluid intake strategically.
Oh, okay.
You could try, for example, drinking more fluids earlier in the day and then tapering off a few hours before bedtime. That makes sense. Any other advice specifically for older adults?
Yeah, choosing hydrating snacks can be a big help.
Okay.
Instead of reaching for chips or crackers, go for fruits and veggies that have high water content, like watermelon, cucumbers, grapes.
Those are all delicious.
Right. And they're packed with fluids.
Exactly. I know we mentioned this before, but, medications can really impact fluid balance too, right?
For sure. Diuretics, we talked about those, they can really increase fluid loss.
Yeah.
So if you're on any medications, talk to your doctor about how they might affect your hydration needs.
Open communication with the doctor again. Very important.
All about teamwork, right?
Right, right. You mentioned earlier that proper hydration, it boosts blood circulation.
Mm-hmm.
Can you unpack that a little more? Like, how does that actually work in our bodies?
Think of your blood vessels like a network of highways.
Right.
Right. When you're well hydrated, your blood has uh, the right consistency to flow smoothly through those highways, delivering oxygen and nutrients to everything.
So when we're dehydrated, it's like creating a traffic jam in our bodies.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Okay.
Dehydration makes your blood thicker, and so your heart has to work harder to pump it, and that can put a lot of strain on your cardiovascular system over time.
Got it. You also mentioned that water helps lubricate our joints, right? Can you talk about that more too?
Sure. Our joints, they have this stuff called cartilage, which is like a connective tissue that helps us move smoothly.
Okay.
And cartilage is mostly made of water.
Oh, wow.
So when you're dehydrated, that cartilage, it can get drier and less flexible, and that leads to stiffness, pain, reduced range of motion.
So it's like hydration keeps our joints maintained and running smoothly.
Yeah. Keeps them healthy and pain-free so you can stay active and mobile as you get older. And don't forget, it's not just about physical health.
Oh, right. What else is there?
Even mild dehydration, it can actually mess with your brain.
Really?
Yeah, affects memory, attention, mood. Studies have shown that.
Wow. So that afternoon slump, it might not just be from like a heavy lunch. It could be dehydration.
Exactly. Your brain needs water too, just like everything else. So if you're feeling, foggy or sluggish or just irritable, try a glass of water before you reach for another cup of coffee.
I'm starting to realize how much I underestimate water.
It's the simple things, right? But
Yeah.
staying hydrated, it's such an easy, powerful way to stay healthy and feel good as we age.
Absolutely. Okay, before we go to part 3, where we'll have even more tips and answer listener questions, I want to leave everyone with this thought. If something as basic as drinking enough fluids can make such a big difference, what other everyday habits are we maybe overlooking? And it's worth thinking about.
That's a great point.
What small changes can we make that could have a big impact down the road? We'll be back after a short break to dig into that. Stay with us. All right, welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been talking all about hydration and healthy aging, and you guys, our listeners, have so many great questions.
Yeah, it's been awesome seeing all the engagement.
It really has.
Yeah.
So let's get to them, shall we? This first one, someone wrote in saying, I'm on a medication that makes me go to the bathroom more often. How can I stay hydrated without, living in the bathroom?
It's a great question and a really common concern, especially for folks on diuretics, like we mentioned before.
Right.
The key here is to spread out your fluid intake throughout the day.
Okay.
Don't chug a ton of water all at once,
So it's more about a steady stream of hydration, not like chugging a whole water bottle at once.
Exactly. Think small, frequent sips rather than big gulps less often.
Gotcha.
And if you're worried about those nighttime bathroom trips, try to front load your fluids earlier in the day, then taper off a few hours before bed.
Okay, so it's like strategic hydration planning.
Exactly. All right, next question. Are all drinks created equal when it comes to hydration?
Ooh, good one.
It is a good one. While technically all fluids do contribute to your overall intake, some are definitely better than others.
Right.
Water should always be your go-to, your number one.
Of course.
But things like unsweetened tea, milk, even coffee in moderation can help you reach your daily goal.
Okay, what about those sugary drinks, soda and juice? They seem hydrating, but I have a feeling there's a downside.
You're right, there is a catch. They do provide fluids, but they also come with a lot of added sugar, which isn't good for you in the long run.
Right.
You're getting hydrated, but with a side of extra calories and, potential health risks.
So moderation is key.
Exactly. Moderation is key.
Got it. Okay, this one's about electrolytes. Someone asked, do I need to worry about electrolytes when it comes to hydration?
Another great question. Electrolytes. Things like sodium, potassium, magnesium, they're minerals, essential minerals, and they play a huge role in a lot of bodily functions, including hydration.
Oh.
They help regulate fluid balance, nerve function, muscle contractions.
So, when do we need to think about replenishing them? Is this a daily thing?
For most people, you get enough electrolytes through a balanced diet.
Okay.
But if you're sweating a lot, like from exercise or being out in the heat, you might need to replenish.
So it's more about those situations where we're losing fluids more rapidly.
Exactly. You might consider a sports drink in those situations or, electrolyte-rich foods.
Okay, makes sense. We have a question about exercise. How much extra fluid should I drink when I work out?
That's a really good question. It depends on a few things, like how intense your workout is, how long it is, the temperature, the humidity.
Right, makes sense.
A good rule of thumb is to drink about 16 ounces of water an hour or two before you exercise.
Okay,
Then keep sipping water throughout your workout.
gotcha. What about after exercising?
After your workout, drink enough to replace the fluids you lost through sweat. You can actually weigh yourself before and after.
Oh, smart.
Yeah, see how much weight you've lost, that's mostly water weight, and then drink that much back in over the next few hours.
It's like a built-in hydration calculator.
Exactly. Your body knows what's up, you just gotta listen to it.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. It's a practical one.
Mm-hmm.
How can I tell if I'm getting enough fluids?
Easiest way, look at the color of your urine.
Really?
Yeah, if it's pale yellow or clear, you're good.
Okay.
If it's darker, time to drink more.
Okay, so like a built-in hydration gauge.
Exactly. Your body's giving you clues. Pay attention to them.
Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive, and I feel like we've all learned so much about the power of hydration.
It's really amazing how something so simple can have such a huge impact on our health, especially as we age.
Totally. So, to all our listeners, I raise a glass of water, or maybe a big slice of watermelon, to better health and a longer life.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. And that's a wrap on the deep dive. Thanks for listening, everyone. Joko.